Hey everybody, and welcome back to the channel. I received some comments on one of my older videos about some of the better and worse workouts on Zwift. And a lot of those comments nowadays are about the fact that there's been a lot of new workouts added to Zwift, and I should update that. So I'd like to do that. There have been a lot of workouts that have been added to Zwift. There's been a few new workout plans and things of that nature, and there are quite a few to choose from. So one of the challenges is trying to choose one that's good and avoiding those that are bad. So I'm going to go ahead and do this. I'm going to revamp my kind of top 10 list, and this is the top 5 good workouts and the top 5 bad workouts. But because there have been so many added, I can't just do that across the entire platform. I think that would be not that helpful. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to break it down into the sections that they have broken out. Now I'm not going to start here with Zwift Academy yet, just because those are constantly refreshing, but I will take a look at those. I'm not going to focus on the new workouts yet. Instead, I'm going to focus on these other categories to start. Now there's some overlap in these, and I'm not going to cover the same workouts in each one. So if you see that I don't like a workout in one category, well, that applies to whatever other category it is into. But today I'm going to focus on the 30 minutes to burn. Now, to me, it's important to understand that if you're jumping on the trainer for 30 minutes, I don't think you're going to get a great workout overall. And really, I think focusing on structured training within that 30-minute window is probably not that great of an idea. Instead, if you're going to jump on the trainer for 30 minutes, then instead just ride around. You're going to get about the same benefit. Now, that being said, there are some workouts in here that are notoriously horrible. And then there are other workouts in here that are actually pretty okay. And I might make some recommendations on what to do to change them. But it's also important to understand the purpose of a 30-minute workout. A lot of times it is a pre-workout workout. So in other words, you are doing it before a race or before a workout as kind of a warm-up. So that also being said, I really, for what it's worth, you'll see a lot of these Zwift workouts have this crazy notion that the warm-up to the workout is a ramp. That's a horrible warm-up, and I'm not going to beat it to death. I may beat it to death, but it's a horrible warm-up. That's not how you warm up for a workout. So when you see that, just substitute a real warm-up. Now, a real warm-up is, hey, jump in, do some zone 1 just to get the legs spinning. Focus on doing some zone 2 for a couple minutes to get that heart rate starting to elevate. And then you really want to do some VO2 level efforts to get the heart rate really up there, so that way it's prepared for when you get into your actual workouts. You don't want your first, heart rate spike to be in your workout. You want a couple of them in your warm-up, and then back to zone 2 to clear out any lactate that may be building up. Zone 2 is good at that. So let's jump right in. Let's talk about the 5 worst and best, and I'm gonna do it in alternating order. I'm gonna do a bad one, a good one, a bad one, a good one, and so on. And I'll say these aren't in any particular order. It's not like one of them is the absolute best, because they are good for different things or bad on different accounts. So we'll start here with, in my opinion, actually probably one of the worst workouts that you can do in here. I know I said I'm not going to rank them, but this one's horrible. This one's awful. Again, this crazy warm-up is dumb. Don't do that. But you are jumping into doing threshold or above. You've got a 20-minute workout with 3, 4, what is that? 10, 15, 12 minutes of that being above threshold, the rest of it being warm up and cool down. I mean, come on, that's just dumb. That's just dumb. This is a way to abuse yourself, and if you really don't like yourself, jump on and do this. But 3 minute, you do a horrible warm up and then just straight into threshold, and what's the point? What is the point of this workout? It doesn't make any sense whatsoever, and it's not going to build anything other than your frustration and make you want to quit riding your bike. Don't do this workout. Just skip it. Delete it. Zwift, fire whoever put this up there, because this is ridiculous. Let's talk about a good one, though. And I call this a good one because this is the Ineos pre-race warm-up. I call this a good one because of the fact that it identifies what it is. It is a pre-race warm-up. And in this particular case, I think that the warm-up, the 20-minute warm-up here, is really good at doing what it says. There's a couple minor exceptions, which I will get to here in a moment, but this little ramp here, okay, fine, whatever. It's just getting your legs spinning, and then you're into zone 1, zone 2, zone 3, zone 4, zone 5, and then you're eventually hitting these spikes of zone 6 and then cooling back down. If you're going to do a Zwift race, this is actually a pretty okay warm-up to do. Now here's where I would change things just a little bit. 6 seconds in zone 6. There's no value to a 6-second interval. Sorry to tell you. There is absolutely no value. Your heart rate will not peak in that 6 seconds. In fact, you can do that 6 seconds about as hard as you want and then fully recover, and your heart rate will never peak. And you want it to peak. I'm not saying it needs to be at your absolute max, but the difference of me doing 6 seconds at 570 watts versus 20 or 30 seconds at 570 watts is going to be significantly different, and it's going to get my anaerobic system working differently. So if you're going to do this workout, which I would encourage as a pre-race warm-up, this is a good one, make these 20 seconds or 25 seconds or 30 seconds, doesn't matter. Maybe 30 seconds, 25, and then 20 if you don't want to absolutely beat yourself up. Okay, back to the bad ones again. Okay, come on. There are so many of these on Zwift that I swear the only reason that people create them is to make them as colorful as humanly possible. Here's one of my mantras for a workout. If you can't memorize the workout before going to do it, it's not a good workout. It doesn't make any sense. If you can't memorize it, just look at what your coach gave you, look at what's on the screen and say, oh, I can do that. I don't need a computer in front of me to do that. I can just do that. Then it's not a good workout. And this is a great example of that. What in the world is the value of doing 20-second intervals at varying intensities? What? There is no advantage to this whatsoever. Again, horrible warm-up, horrible cool-down, and then somebody just wanted to make something colorful. This is dumb. Don't do this. Back to a good one. Let's find this one here. Thankfully, they're in alphabetical order. Lactate shuffle short. I'm going to say this is a good one, but I'm going to caveat it with one thing. Don't do this warm-up. 8 minutes of a ramp that never takes you above zone 2, and then all of a sudden you're doing 3 minutes of zone 6. That's not going to feel good, and frankly, it's going to waste this interval. This interval will be a throwaway interval, and you shouldn't focus on trying to complete it. Instead, during this little 8-minute section, do some zone 6 stuff. Do 30 seconds at 375 watts or whatever, or, whatever your zones are. That would be what I would do. 30 seconds at 375 or 400 watts, just to kind of get the heart pumping. Otherwise, the moment you jump in here, your heart rate's going to go nuts, and you're going to die. But that being said, overall good workout. So just change the warm up a little bit. 3 minutes in zone 6. This is gonna hurt. By the way, I don't care if you're warmed up appropriately or not. This is gonna hurt. And then these shouldn't be too bad. These 1 minute intervals. It's 1 minute on, 1 minute off. No harm in that. I think there's better ways to do it, but overall this is not bad. And you're gonna build up some lactate here, and then you're gonna hopefully clear that lactate here. So not a bad workout. The cool down, just ignore whatever these are and just ride till your legs start feeling a little bit better after doing that workout. Wait till they're feeling healthy, and then you're good. Okay. One thing I forgot to mention about Calorie Crush. The name of this is absolutely horrible, by the way. You're not crushing any calories doing this workout. Just don't. It sets up bad expectations. Okay, here's another one that I think is this is a bad one. They decided to make this just to make it look pretty and colorful again. 40 second, 20 second, 10 second. What is the purpose of this? We won't go into the warm-up. It's garbage. The cool-down's garbage. But what in the world is the purpose of these intervals? They're not building you for anything. If you can't explain to me why you're doing these building intervals, which again, you're looking at a minute and 10 second build, followed by 10 seconds of rest, and then a minute and 10 second decline. You're not building your anaerobic system by doing that. You're not stressing it enough, and you're not building your zone 2 or your endurance ranges, because this takes you outside of those. And those are really the two areas you need to focus on. You need to focus on your endurance or your base, and you need to focus on your anaerobic. So you're not focusing on either of those things in this. It may burn, but just because it burns doesn't make it a good thing. Okay, back to another good one here. This one is called Terrain Toner. And overall, this is, back to one of my mantras. If you can't remember the workout, then it's not a good workout. You can remember this. Real simple. Warm up for about 5 minutes, cool down for about 5 minutes, and in between you're going to do 2 on, 2 off, zone 3, zone 2. It's pretty straightforward. Now, what I think might make this a little bit better is either do 3.5 minutes and 1.5 minutes, or 4 minutes and 2 minutes of zone 3 to zone 2. But overall, this 2 and 2, 2 by 2 is not terrible. Another thing that would make it great, it's only 26 minutes. Triple this up. Like seriously, just do this exact workout, but do it 3 times in a row. Once you've done your initial warm up, then really just make these like 5 minutes of free ride, or 10 minutes of free ride between each of these sessions. And honest to God, it's going to work great. This is a great midweek, you feel good kind of workout. And when you're done doing this workout, you're going to still feel good. Just don't, if you're doing a zone 3 and zone 2 workout, don't push your heart rate. So you don't need to be doing major spike intervals here. That's going to kind of defeat the purpose. But overall, this is actually a pretty good workout. I would say add as many more of these intervals as you want. All right, back to bad ones. Okay, this one kills me. Okay, what? Again, horrible warm-up. 5 minutes of just a steady ramp right on up to 214, which, by the way, my zone 2, for example, runs up to 225 watts, give or take, depending upon day, depending upon freshness. But what's the point of doing a 5-minute warm-up that just takes you just a ramp up to zone 2, and then bam, a minute into zone 6, and then the rest of the time is spent at threshold or above. And look at that. Oh, they gave you, they dropped your threshold by 6 watts, and then by another 8 watts, and then this is all threshold. This is all threshold. It's just that you're accounting for some fatigue towards the end here. So a minute well above threshold, 2 minutes of threshold, a minute and a half above threshold, 2 minutes of threshold, 2 minutes above threshold, 2 minutes of threshold, 2 minutes of threshold. 30 seconds of free ride. What this means, you can get off your bike, vomit, get back on the bike just in time to do your cool down, and you don't miss any stars. Come on, who is this helping? Now, maybe, if you were to combine this with maybe like the Ineos pre-race warm-up or something, and then did this, maybe, but even still, like, what is the purpose of this? This is not enough variability, and frankly, I would do 40-20s like this, or maybe a minute on, a minute at threshold, a minute above threshold, and so on and so forth. But this makes absolutely no sense. This is just somebody who thought they'd be clever. All right, another good one, resilience ride. Can you catch a theme here? The simple workouts are oftentimes the best workouts. This is just a straight up zone 3 workout, and it's fantastic. Minus the stupid warm up again. For a zone 3 workout, this is not the worst warm up in the world, but whatever. Now, again, if I were going to change this in any way, I would keep these blocks basically the same, 6-minute blocks, but I would do 4 on and 2 off. But 5 on and 1 off is fine too. But overall, again, if you wanted to make this workout maybe a little bit more intense, just double or triple it. So, do an hour and 20 minutes at this. So you're doing, you've got 10 minutes between workouts because you got a 5-minute cool down and a 5-minute warm up added together. And then you got, 3 by 5s. This is actually a really good warm up, a really good workout. So don't hesitate to do this. 27 minutes of it though, Again, you're not getting a whole lot in, but if I had 30 minutes and only 30 minutes, this might be the one I would do. All right. I see a lot of workouts like this. This is my final bad one. I see a lot of workouts like this. And again, I have to ask the question, what are they for? What is it trying to solve? Now you might look at this and think, well, gosh, it's working on my anaerobic system. And on the surface, it looks like that, and yeah, you could memorize this workout. But the question that I have is, what is the purpose of this interval set right here? 30 seconds, in zone 6, well above your threshold, and then a minute of recovery. 30 seconds at that level of power, you're not going to be stressing your cardiac system that much. It's just not. And then with a whole minute of rest in between, in zone 2, low zone 2, but zone 2, you are clearing some of your lactate. Yes, that's great. But you haven't built up much here anyway, and you really haven't stressed anything. This is one of those ones where it's like, hey, if you wanted to modify it just a little bit, it would be really intense and really hard, but it would be really good. Here's what you do. You flip these intervals. 1 minute at 342 watts. And again, those are my watts. You do whatever, whatever the system tells you to do. 1 minute at 342 and 30 seconds at 185. Now you're starting to stress the cardio system. Now you're actually starting to make things challenging. That would be good. You could even do like 40 seconds on, 40 seconds off. But your intensity should be at least the same length as your recovery, or up to twice as much as the length of your recovery. So, 1 minute on, 30 seconds off. That would actually make it okay. All right, my final good one here, and there's not a whole lot in here, by the way, so I kind of had to search for good ones. And this is, a little bit of caveat on this is that it's good by the standard of these are all pretty bad. So this one's like the least horrible of the bad ones remaining. So it's the expand one, and it's called expand because you just spend a little bit more time at each section above your threshold. This is another one of those where I would say just double it or triple it, do it a few times, because overall 15 seconds, that's basically a warm up to this, which is basically a warm up to this, and then these are good intervals. A minute on at these powers, those are decent numbers. This one's you're gonna feel tired doing this after this one. But if you were to maybe double or triple this, then what you're gonna find is that this 10 minutes again between intervals, as you repeat them, it's gonna help clear all that, and then you're gonna be ready to do it again. So overall, not a terrible workout. As a matter of fact, I may incorporate doing like 3 repeats of this myself from time to time, just to kind of get this high intensity approach. This is not, I would not call this a hard workout. Even if you tripled it up, it's not going to be a hard workout. It's going to be moderate at worst. So set your expectations accordingly. Just because you see a bunch of red doesn't mean it's bad. But it's relatively easy to memorize. You could do this on the road if you want to, and as long as it's safe to do so, and you'd be okay. Okay, so there are my top 5 and bottom 5 in the 30 seconds to spare segment of workouts, or 30 minutes to spare. If you only had 30 seconds to spare, just do some burpees or some push-ups or something. But 30 minutes to burn. Next video, I'll do the one that's 30 to 60 minutes, where I think you can start getting into a couple of decent workouts, but only a few. And there you go. So I would love to hear your feedback. I'd love to know what workouts in here you like to do, which ones you avoid, which ones you think are dumb. And yeah, tell me, maybe post some things about some of the workouts you like to do that are on Zwift, and I'll take a look at them and let you know what I think. In the meantime, keep putting comments down there. I really like getting back to people on their comments. Give me a thumbs up if you like the video, and if you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe. I appreciate I appreciate all the subscriptions. Until then, until the next video, I will keep scouring Zwift for the good and the bad and the ugly, and stay tuned. Those will come out soon. All right, thanks everybody. See you guys again soon.